Welcome everyone to the GPP Comms and Outreach training tonight. We're going to just be going through the major channels that we recommend and basically what our responsibilities are as country committees. So one thing that's really important and for us to be all very aware of is why comms and outreach is so important for the global primary. And that is because we are charged with making sure every American, not just every member, knows about the GPP and how they can vote and when and where they can vote. It's really important for them. So that's part of our job and something that we pledge to do in the delegate selection plan every 4 years. And of course, I have a little note here that says letting people know they can vote unless they've already voted in another state's presidential primary or they plan to vote in another state's presidential primary. Very important. So I'm going to just go through some channels and then some impact measurement that I recommend and also some resources for tonight. The first channel is the one that's pretty obvious for everybody, and it's our website. Now think of the website really as our guide and reference. So you're going to want to make sure it's really easy to read. And we have made this as easy as possible by having examples on other that we've shared with everybody. If you don't have those examples yet, at the end, we will make sure this deck is up on the website and on the wiki, and you'll be able to reference those examples and copy them, no problem. Just adapt them to your own needs. Really important things to include on there is your in-person voting opportunities. You're going to want to have a primary page about your country's primary. You want to talk about the in-person opportunities, how to request your ballots, any volunteer outreach really recommended, and then link to more information, really important. Also need to have event pages created for every one of your voting centers and ballot assistance events. We really recommend it, unless the ballot assistance events are going to be more private, then you don't have to do an event. But for voting centers, you must do events. Because of the way Nation Builder is designed, you need to actually add the opening and closing times in your page intro. You can't just rely on the opening time. You need to make sure the opening and closing times are mentioned. And you also really should add the specific location. You must do that. It must be publicly announced for voting centers. Once you finish your creating an event, we will tag it for you and make sure it's up on the main GPP events calendar. So just send us your event links. We have a form that's linked here, and I will share it as well. Send us your links and we will tag it for you, no problem. We also recommend news posts that you can add. These are not required, but they're great. But you might want to talk about how this is a great, unique chance to vote in person. You might want to talk about your kitchen table talks if you have any coming up. Talk about how useful it is that you can register and request your ballot through Vote From Abroad. And also the importance of a primary, showing the importance of the primary and how it shows that democracy matters. Right now we're all loaded down with Trump and the results in Iowa, and just thinking, and we need to bring something to our members, showing them that we're doing something about this. And we are reaching out and asking them to participate too. Social media channels, really important. If our websites are where we go for resources and references, our social media channels where we go for buzz and outreach. So make sure you're posting your events to your social channels. Ask your leaders and all your volunteers to share these events. You can ask them in whatever channel you reach out to them in. If it's your email, your Slack channel, any of your WhatsApp or Signal channels. Send the links, and it makes it so easy to share. That's a great way to get a little bit of buzz, because as you probably know, Facebook's not always great at sharing political posts, so sometimes we have to give it a nudge. Also share events and posts with other American groups. I know there are great groups in Portugal, for example. The Setúbal group is famous. So that's a great place if you can get permission to share it. Make sure you're asking and following all those groups' rules, but it's a super way to reach new members, new Americans who've not heard about us before. Also, of course, neighborhood groups, kids, and parenting groups, they're just a great way to share, as long as you make sure you're following those group rules. Here's some ideas for posts. I would love to hear more. I'm sure everybody has great ideas for posts. And hashtags that we're using this year: Global Primary 2024 and Vote From Abroad, a perennial favorite. Member emails. So member emails are, of course, great for push notifications and reminders. So we really we need everybody to send out emails about your primary. Make sure you're linking to your events. Make sure you're linking to your GPP page, because remember, every country has a different locations that need to be discussed, different ways of requesting a postal ballot. And so it's really important that information is customized for your country. Also, we really recommend 24-hour reminders. It just makes it much easier for people to keep things in their minds. I like to remind people who have RSVP'd, and I also like to remind people who have not RSVP'd. So I send out 2 different messages. You might also send out a call for volunteers. And we have some examples on the website already. And also fundraising emails. Everyone you need to pay for this. So there's a finance and fundraising deck that has ideas. And we're also running a GPP workshop tomorrow on finance and fundraising if you want to come along for that. Now, press, let's talk about press, because it's really important. And press is a great way to go out and reach out beyond your membership. It's incredibly important. And it's about press builds our reputation, and it builds trust in who we are. Because when someone's talking about us and who's a trusted channel, media channel, people say, oh, vote from abroad's real. Oh, Democrats abroad, they really do exist. And so it gives us validation. That's really important. So now's the time to be reaching out early and prepping your press contacts or finding out who they are. And I know that Angela has been asking you about this. Sharon Manita, who's our press contact, has also been asking you about this. Please let them know who your main press contact is, so they can be sending them information about upcoming events and trainings. And if you have any questions about like a good way to get in touch with press, you can write gpp@democratsabroad.org, or you can write press@democratsabroad.org. We're happy to talk about that. I love talking to press. They love to give advice. They don't like press releases, but they like to give advice. That's my big tip for dealing with press. Teaser topics to send to your press contacts. Save the date invitation. This is easy content for them. Also, a lot of press don't know that we participate in Super Tuesday 2. This is something they can write about. They're all looking for something to write about regarding the Super Tuesday. So this is local flavor. It's great for them. And here's some fun facts about our voting centers. We have voting centers across 6 continents. We're the earliest Super Tuesday. The furthest south voting center is in Auckland, New Zealand. The furthest north is in Helsinki. So these are kind of fun things that the press will like to talk about. I also recommend, if you can, is think about what's unique about you guys, so that when you're reaching out to your local contact saying, hey, we're the only voting, we're the furthest in the North Atlantic, or something like, just whatever matches your voting center, you can find something and add some color for their story. That's great. One thing I really want to emphasize, this big star on the right, is no press for ballot assistance events. These are very different from voting centers, so no press for ballot assistance events. Print. Now, print also has a real place in our outreach. It's the most local of outreach. If it's really literally posted on the wall, or on the lamppost. A lot of people will get stickers and they will graffiti the lamppost, do what's legal in your country. But if you do get a sticker, make sure try to have the QR code on it to pointing to Vote From Abroad. We'll have those resources available for you. Also, I love to get A3 posters with QR codes. We take them to our local cafes and local burrito places and post them all over the city. It's really great for getting people's eyes on them while they're standing in line waiting to pick up their food. Postcards can be also great for cafes that have postcard like boxes. But again, whatever works for your location, we will have a lot of assets on the wiki in different sizes for you. So think about what works for your region and your where you're going to be having your events, and then if we don't have an asset in the right size for you, come and let us know, and we will create something that it works for your needs. Okay, online ads. Now, online ads are this is a great way to reach out to all corners of the country. When we talk a lot about cities and our local cafes, et cetera, but there are people all over our countries. In the Czech Republic, we have people in, up in the mountains, in the little tiny towns. And one of the best ways for us to reach out to people is through online ads. So if you can do Facebook ads, that's great. Angela is running Facebook ad trainings. You need to make sure your admins have their identity confirmed and your disclaimers in place for you to do these ads. We will also have assets for you very soon, so you'll be ready to roll. But it's important to get your admins ready to go because that can take some time. So we recommend getting started on that. Also consider ad placement in online press. You probably have an online English language newspaper or local community group that if they do ads, you can't get earned media there. This is a good way to, a good use of your money to spend a little bit on getting some ad placements about the global primary. I would ask first for a free placement, but then if they will say no, they go to the ad. Now, so we've talked about all these different channels, and now the next part is impact measurement. It's really important, I always find, to make sure you're collecting what's the impact of your outreach. Collect it, measure it, and then tweak your outreach. This is so useful for everybody. You can look at your email metrics, look at your open rates, your click-through rates. You can do that on your broadcast dashboard. You can look at your VFA usage. Here's a link to where you can sign up to your dashboard. This is incredibly useful for you because then you can see, oh, I sent out an email and look, my numbers went up this way. You can check out your RSVP for events, your fundraising responses, your press mentions, also your QR code trackers. We can set up a little dashboard. Talk to Merrill Oates, he can help you with that. And then of course, your social media reach. Start with the easiest, which is the email metrics and the VFA usage, and then go down depending upon how many volunteers. If you have a volunteer who's interested in data, great job for them. I always say there's something for introverts and extroverts in this, and Democrats abroad, and this is a great one for introverts, myself included. So I love data. Great, but it's super useful as a way of measuring whether or not your outreach is working. Here are some resources. So we have the GPP wiki page. You probably are already aware of that. If you go to wiki.democratsabroad.org and you can't find it, my secret hint is just go to the search bar and type GPP 2024. You'll pull it up. So, but you can also use this link. We also have a press kit on democratsabroad.org. If you just go up to the navigation, go down to the GPP, you'll see a link to the press kit from the main GPP page. That's democratsabroad.org/GPP, and then you'll see the link. We have a bunch of trainings. I wasn't able to get the links yet, but there are trainings for Facebook ads, trainings for press and spokespeople, and then we're always doing drop-ins. And if you go to democratsabroad.org/GPP_trainings, you'll see all the trainings we have up there moving forward. And of course, any questions, always email us at gbp@democratsabroad.org. We also have comm samples ready for you. We have event page text, a local primary page text, global press releases that you can borrow language from. We have a bunch of comm samples coming your way, email announcements, social posts, digital ad content, posters and postcards assets, and voting center invites. So with that, let's see it. Thank you. And I'm going to stop recording and go to questions.